Hello everybody, how's it going? I wanted to share a few fragrances that have given me a nose to the neck reaction. What I mean is that I was having a conversation with somebody, they tell me I smell good, and next thing you know, their face is in my neck, or we're cuddling, or if I'm wearing like a zip up sweater, like they'll pull the jacket to the side and then stuff their face in my tank top or whatever shirt I'm wearing underneath. So the first one I'm going to mention is Pie by Givenchy. This, to my nose, is kind of like this powdery vanilla fragrance, but it's not powdery like the feminine Chanel fragrances. You don't have to worry about that. But it's just this really, not too sweet, but a sweet, likable scent. And honestly speaking, I didn't really care too much about this fragrance the first few times that I wore it. I didn't understand why it was getting so much love, but I kept wearing it until one day everything clicked. And I was like, holy shit. I just could not stop smelling it on my sweater. I would just keep like pulling my sweater up and just nonstop, like I was just smelling myself over and over and over again. And I just really started to love this fragrance. But to me, this is a cuddles galore fragrance. And even though I wasn't as into it within the first few times I tried it, I was always getting complimented from women every single time that I've worn this fragrance. Now, to me, I actually spray this on clothes more than skin. I will sometimes do the skin clothes combo, but to me, this is just like a sweater type of fragrance. Like when I spray this on my sweater, it just smells better to me. Now, this scent, like the reason why I say the longevity I get is around 6 hours is because I mainly do spray it on my clothes, and that holds the fragrance a lot longer than skin. But I would not recommend wearing this on a hot day. Even when the sun's out, I stay away from it. I only wear it when it's gloomy, in the fall, in the winter, or at nighttime, all right? So just because it can get a bit cloying if you wear it in the heat. But Pie by Givenchy. I'll put all the names of the fragrances in the description box. I don't know why I was gonna stumble over that. And I'll put the discount site links there too. So next, Spicebomb Extreme by Viktor and Rolf. This fragrance, it provides the best of both worlds. Let me explain. So this is a spicy scent in the opening, kind of punches you in the face. It's caraway. I thought it was cumin. Don't really even know what caraway is, but it definitely grabs your attention. And then as it starts to dry down, it becomes this sweet scent. Not too sweet, but definitely something that is very intoxicating to the feminine nose. All right, this fragrance, I've said the story so many times, but I was having a conversation with a couple people, and both of them, while I was talking, just cut me off at different parts, different times of the conversation, just to tell me that I smell good and to put their face in my neck. So this is something that smells great in the air, and then it also smells fantastic up close, because there's some strong fragrances that have great performance, a great scent trail, and great projection like this one, but the closer you get to it, the less appealing it becomes, because it's meant to be just something in the air. But this does both, which is fantastic. So a very sexy fragrance. The ladies really do love this one. And even when I wore this, guys really liked it on me too. They were like, man, you smell good. Then when I told them it was Spicebomb Extreme, they're like, oh, my Spicebomb doesn't smell like that, you know? So skin chemistry, a big thing. This does not smell masculine on my skin. Next is Oud Wood by Tom Ford. You gotta love it. This is a fresh fragrance to me, like a fresh woody fragrance, I'll say. Okay, not super fresh like a light blue intense, but it does not smell like oud. All right, if you see oud and you're like, oh shit, I hate that, trust me, doesn't smell like the barnyard fecal smell that you're thinking about. This smells like freshly blended wood, in my opinion. And it's actually a fragrance that my girlfriend used to not like because she would smell it on the tip like this and just be like, no, I don't get it. But when I wore this recently, it just drove her wild. She was like, that smells super sexy, and it's now Pound Town Galore certified. It is among the elite fragrances in that Hall of Fame. If you want to check out my videos on that, you can just YouTube my name and Pound Town Galore. You'll see all of that stuff. But this is a fragrance that actually lasts a lot longer on my skin than it does on the majority of people. So for me, I have gotten 7-8 hours on skin alone with Oud Wood, especially like not projecting that much, But to me, sometimes I don't smell it, but like when my girlfriend's in my neck, she definitely smells it from like the daytime to the nighttime. So, or from, sorry, actually the nighttime to the morning. But yeah, this fragrance does have good performance on me, but I will say a majority of people do not get nice performance with this. So just overspray it, you know what I mean? Overspray the scent. Next, Ambre Nuit by Christian Dior. This used to be my signature scent. Like this was actually, well, there was another one I'll mention in this video, but this fragrance is an ambery rose scent. And trust me, I am not a big fan of rose fragrances. Sometimes, or most of the time, they remind me of funeral homes and just a very mature, older woman, right? I kind of associate it with like the older women that I've encountered. But this does not do that. It's very unisex. Anybody can pull this off, but it's a very like suave, like flirtatious, seductive type of fragrance. To me, this is kind of like when you see somebody attractive from across the room and you're both flirting with each other through your eyes, you know, and it's just like, it's like there's some tension, it's sexy, it's seductive. And this fragrance, I've said this story before, but I remember when I was wearing it, like we were all wearing masks. And we were outside actually, but like there was like this mask rule or something like that. But the girl next to me like takes off her mask, and I just see her like slowly inching towards me as I'm talking to like this group of people. And then next thing you know, her face is in my neck and she's just like, oh, you smell so good. What is that? Another thing that happened with this fragrance is I remember I was wearing it and this girl also asked me to have my bottle. Like I wasn't in front of my collection, nothing like that. I was at a party and she was like, you smell so good. I'm like, thank you. And she was like, can I have the bottle of that fragrance? And I was like, hell no, you cannot, you can't have my fragrance, but you can get it on Dior's website if you like. But yeah, very nice, intimate, cuddly, sexy, also Pound Town Galore certified fragrances. A lot of the ones I'm going to mention will be actually Pound Town Galore certified. Next, of course, La Nuit de l'Homme by YSL, my very first signature scent. Sexy cardamom. That's all there is to it. This is a fragrance that to me is more fresh than people give it credit for. Yes, it has the sweetness to it, but I've worn this in like 75-degree weather and people were loving it. It wasn't cloying. It wasn't too sweet. In fact, it was just like the cardamom kind of took more of a fresh take and it smelled lovely on my skin. But this fragrance has given me like so many eyes rolling to the back of the head type of reactions of like, oh, that smells so sexy, you smell so sexy, you know what I mean? And kind of like mouth-watering reactions. I remember I have worn this, I've gotten a couple compliments before from women, like, or just them telling me that this is the sexiest thing that they've ever smelled. They're like, you just smell fantastic, and they just go nuts over the scent. And this also you can overspray, but on my skin it holds pretty well, also, luckily enough. But yeah, you can definitely go over 10 sprays of this fragrance if you want to. All right, next, I mean, do I really even have to talk about these? Like the top 3 right here, you know what? Let me just grab Tobacco Vanille. This one just holds a lot of memories for me in general, but very sweet fragrance. Doesn't smell like tobacco and vanilla, honestly. It kind of reminds me of the holidays. It reminds me of Christmas, like eating gingerbread cookies and having like a chai latte. That's basically all I get with this scent. But it's very like intriguing, specifically like, come on now, specifically to the feminine nose. This is a very unisex scent. Anybody can wear it, but whenever I've worn it, girls have really, really liked it, especially in the cold weather. It's a beast that performs over 12 hours. I'm gonna keep it short and simple with these. These are my like top fragrances of all time. You've heard me mention them nonstop. Afternoon Swim is an orange fragrance with this cologne kind of backbone, just a little bit, but very unisex. It's marketed as unisex. Also Tuxedo, marketed as unisex from YSL. My favorite sexy nighttime fragrance, my daytime, nighttime. These two have just been absolute monsters in my collection. If you haven't seen my video on the top 3 I'd keep for the rest of my life, these are 2 of the 3 right here in my hands. But shit, I'm not even gonna go into it. I'm not gonna go into it, but this is kind of, it dries down with this boozy bourbon vanilla sort of smell. And it kind of smells a bit fresh, clean, green in the opening on my skin. So interesting. But yeah, I'm going to keep it short. But those absolute bangers. Next is Layton by Parfums de Marly. I'm also going to throw in Carlisle, but I don't have a full-size bottle of it currently in my collection. Carlisle definitely got more love in my, like, well, this does get a lot of love, but Carlisle gets, like, the sex appeal was crazy with that fragrance. Like, I experienced that multiple times where it looks like this, but it's just the straight up black bottle, where it was, I've never seen reactions like that. I think Tuxedo and Carlisle and Afternoon Swim have pulled me some of the most insane, like, sexual type of reactions. I'll just put it that way. But with Layton, this is like an apple, vanilla, cardamom scent. Very likable, very mass appealing. If you're somebody that's only worn designer scents, this is the one I would suggest getting into. Carlisle can be a bit challenging to a newer person's nose, but definitely like in the air, up close, it's a sex beast for sure. And that one, to my nose, kind of smells like this, I was gonna say like this medicinal green apple with a Middle Eastern twist in the opening only, and then it just dries down into something you have never smelled before, or the average person has never smelled before. It does not smell like something that anybody else is wearing, or that you smell at Macy's, at your local department store, fragrance places, stuff like that. Very, very unique type of fragrance. Next, Naxos, honey, tobacco type of fragrance. Mafia boss to the max. Like, literally that's all it is. Like, also very unisex fragrance. It's just suave and sexy. That's it. And badass. Mix that in there as well. Okay, a couple more. Molecule 01 by Eccentric Molecules. This is a pheromone fragrance. Something about it is just, at least it plays off everybody's skin. Very different. Some people smell it, some people don't. Some people smell good, some smell terrible. But for me, it'll just kind of go in and out, where I'll smell it 1 second, the next I don't smell it. But when I'm outside, when I'm active, this thing is popping off. It is also, like, this is my top 3 with these two right here of fragrances for the rest of my life. Like, I will never ever not own these, because they're my favorite scents in my collection. But this thing, also, like Carlisle, like Tuxedo, like Afternoon Swim, has gotten me just like where even like I couldn't wrap my head around like the reactions I was getting with this fragrance. And I was like, damn, I guess this pheromone shit is actually like, it's a for real thing, you know what I mean? But yeah, it enhances your skin chemistry, and also if you layer it with your fragrances on top of your other fragrances, it'll help with the performance. Now, okay, let me do a couple more. No stranger here, Elysium by Roja Parfums. One of my favorite freshies. This one and Afternoon Swim are my 2 favorite fresh fragrances in my collection that I love to wear. But it's this fresh pineapple scent, and it also has this lemon cocktail vibe. But don't think of things like Club de Nuit Intense Man and Aventus and Xerjoff Naxos with this fragrance. At least to me, this smells nothing like those scents. It's just totally different. But whenever people see pineapple, they associate that, but trust me, it's not that type of DNA, like Scent of Peace, not anything like that, but super, super sexy, fun. This is the fragrance, this is like a life of the party fragrance. If you're that type of person, and you're going to like a beach party or something like that, and you know that feeling you get when you walk into a party and everyone's like, hey, you're here, like everyone just gets like super hyped, and you feel like your ego just goes through the roof. That is Elysium by Roja Parfums. Also one that lasts really well on my skin, but most people get bad performance. So, but I mean, I'm very, I wouldn't want it any other way. Lastly, Soir by MFK. The first time I wore this fragrance, it's an amber vanilla scent, but the first time I wore it, I gave somebody a hug, and then like they kind of pulled away, and they were like, oh shit, they kept doing this, like, oh, you smell so good, and they were just doing like these deep whiffs. They're like, that smells so good. So this, a very sweet, like it reaches type, like great projecting scent trail longevity type of fragrance if you like amber and vanilla. But anyways, that's all I'll say for this video. I'm sure there's a few more, but those are the ones that really stand out to me. I'll put all the names of the fragrances in the description, and the discount site links again are also in the description. I hope you have a lovely day. See you in the next video. Bye.